Welcome everybody. I'm going to start by sharing a quote from Jeff Bezos, a guy who knows a few things about websites and commerce. And the only sustainable advantage you can have over others is agility. That's it. Nothing else is sustainable. Everything you create, somebody else will replicate. So this is about first mover advantage, taking your chance on innovation in a well thought out way. And that's what website migration is all about. Fundamentally, the reason why you're doing it is either because your current website, your current system is creaking at the seams and you're not getting the returns for your business that you need, so you put your hope in the opportunity that a website migration or a new platform will start to deliver those. So what I'm going to do is share with you some of the things that are coming in the future, but actually are also happening right now, that are being taken advantage of by merchants who have done thoughtful migrations using flexible systems, platforms, thinking, processes, and people to help move their business forwards in this digital age and the way changes are happening. So going through the change, so as Magento, as a software manufacturer, the change can have many implications, can't it, as we go into midlife. I've worked for commerce-related software companies for the last 18 years. And software manufacturers themselves, in the same way as merchants, anytime you create a new platform or make a major change to your current platform, there's risk involved. There's risk you're going to upset your customers. There's managing your customers to retain them, to want to move to that. In the same way that if you as a merchant decide to do a website migration to create a new platform, there's huge risk for your business as well. You could the potential of losing customers along the way, the potential it doesn't go right. And it's exactly the same for the software manufacturer, but you do it because of the opportunity and the upside that's there. And in 2015, Magento did exactly that. It built from the ground up, leaving behind Magento 1 and launched Magento 2, and that was built on the freshest technologies to take advantage of exactly those things that Jeff Bezos talks about what's coming in the future, to have that flexibility, agility, and scale to help you do that as a business. And so subsequently since then, we've added in a lot of extra elements like CMS, like marketplace capabilities, B2B, where relevance, business intelligence. And those have come along as a result of us replatforming to the latest technologies and our customers being able to take advantage. So the risk of not changing, of not taking that step, is not being able to take advantage of the common trends that we're seeing. So I'll share with you some of these trends because these are the benefits, these are the upsides to mitigate and to move your business forwards, being mindful of the risks that are potentially out there. So how do you future-proof your commerce ability? Well, you look forward to the future and see what's happening. And Magento is based in Silicon Valley. We're recently just being acquired by Adobe, which is completing next quarter. So we're well placed in understanding and seeing, as a global business with merchants that are through our platform have about 125 billion of commerce transactions every year. So we're well placed to see what's happening in the future, but also what's happening now that you as merchants really need to understand and factor into those migration considerations. And so what we're seeing is social. Obviously the world is going social, content and commerce, people, shoppable content that comes from socially derived sources, the ability also to expose your catalog into social environments or into marketplaces that are driven by social and recommendations. And so pointing back to Amazon, last year 52% of all e-commerce that happened in the States was through Amazon. So whether you love them or loathe them, you cannot ignore them as a merchant. And so you have to factor in how, as you go to market, how you're going to factor in going through a marketplace. And social commerce can lead into that. So being able to expose your catalog in an easy and meaningful way into those social environments that lead to marketplaces, but also to your brand website as well. And then everything's as a service. You can't get away from the word cloud these days. But what's interesting is some of the trends underlying that is it's mobile and it's vocal. So as we look at mobile, a mobile first approach has to be a starting point. Mobile only. So think about it. Who has used Uber? Show of hands. Yeah, everybody, right? Everybody. So think about it. Uber You can't go to a website for Uber, can you? It's just on your phone. So they decided a mobile-only approach. And if you think about it, you say, well, it's only ordering a taxi. Well, think about the reality of what ordering a taxi is. You're dealing with live and variable stock in real time that's moving and geolocated, and you need to get it to you at the right time to also know a destination which is unknown or that you're putting in, and taking into account all those factors where the variable stock becomes available and doesn't, as the Uber drivers sign in and sign out, to get you to the place you need. So the complexity of the order process, the shipping, the payments and the purchases, all done in mobile. So challenge yourself as you're migrating. How can you take a mobile only? That might be a jump too far, but how can you take mobile first as that approach to lead all your other platforming migration decisions and also your SEO decisions around that as well? And so first touch experiences, as you design for mobile, start thinking about, well, this is good, you've got your click down menus, think about it at an even more advanced level. How can you, through testing, through seeing multivariate testing or A/B testing, what works better? Think about simple buttons rather than fiddly little drop down menus. Think about people with large hands who are busy trying to press the things they want. The more easy you make it, the higher conversion rate you will get. Who here has heard of progressive web apps? Okay, a few of you in the room. This is coming, and this is coming really fast. We're closely involved with Google, who are spearheading this as a piece. And what we see is progressive web apps really takes the best of an app and the best of mobile web and puts that together. So the advantage of an app, it's great, it's on your phone, it's easy, it works offline, it's got good functionality. But the disadvantages, and I'm sure, who's ever bought a flight on BA, the BA app? You notice the join, you notice the crack from where you buy to when at some point you suddenly realize, this is an app, it's not really connected in a single way to their website, to their back-end systems and everything. And so you feel the join. And there's very few apps out there and websites that have made that join completely seamless. And that's because it's hard to do if you're building apps. Mobile sites, on the other hand, you've got your same code base, it's pretty seamless. Well, it is seamless as a join in the way you design it, so that's a good thing. Apps are painful for you as a brand because you have to, if you want to change, you have to resubmit it, getting into the queue for the App Store or Google Play, go through that cycle. If you want to do updates and releases or there's bugs, you've got to go through that whole cycle. It's not immediate. Whereas in mobile websites, you can do that, and it's easy, simple and done. So what progressive web apps does is take all the advantages of having working offline, being able to use your app in a great way that you have, but use that as a single code base. It effectively uses the browser on your site, it uses microservices that downloaded onto your phone, and then you can use it in an offline manner. You as the merchant can have a single code base that goes across, be fully responsive in a progressive web app way. We see this coming and really fast. So as you're looking at migrations or you're looking at your business, think about progressive web apps, and I can't stress that enough. That is coming full force and very quickly. Vocal search. So who here has ever asked Google a search? Yeah, my 9-year-old son said to me not long ago, "Daddy, who will win in a fight between a crocodile and a hippo?" I don't know. So this 9-year-old boy goes, "Ask Google." Didn't say type it in, he said ask. So sure enough, I asked Google, and by the way, it's the hippo that wins. Well, they are bad boys, they look cute, don't go near them. So you're suddenly getting asked, but then you're getting vocal to visual. Okay, who's ever done a search in Google, whether you've spoken it or you've typed it in, and instead of looking at a list of URLs, you've clicked on the little line images? Who's done that? Yeah, that's increasing. So vocal searches, 20% of all Google app searches are now voice searches. But what's coming along with that is visual search. So for instance, if you say, I'm looking for a pair of black high heels, that's me at the weekends, you click on the images, and so you don't know what brand is behind that. You're just looking at what looks interesting. Oh, I like that pair of high heel boots. So you click on that. So think about what's happening behind the scenes on your SEO to make sure that your brand's high heel shoes are surfacing above the fold in a way that's interesting visually, that person clicks on that image and not another one. And then what happens? You click on the image, what does it do? Take you to a random part of your site? Or does it take you to a curated experience that's contextual, that knows you've clicked on high heel shoes, that has content around it that is rich and engaging, that has black belts, black handbags, because it knows that you've clicked on high heel shoes, and is surfacing that for a cross-sell and upsell experience opportunity that delivers a lovely curated experience for the customer. So there's a lot that's going on behind the scenes in working with SEO, with the way you're managing and labeling your content, to be able to take advantage of these trends, vocal, visual searches. And that is only increasing. So if you get ahead of the curve, you're in a much better place than your competition. Who's heard of headless commerce? Okay, so I'll give you an example. You know how traditionally, and we've been working on your websites and your mobile sites to buy now with one click, 1 or 2 clicks. Do you find actually one click? We did a load of research, and when we relaunched our platform, we created an out of the box, you can go straight to 2 clicks, because we did lots of testing, and we found that 1 click was almost too easy. And if you've ever done that, you go, do you want to buy with 1 click? Like, ooh, not sure. You want that second click just to make, yes, I'm sure. So it's really easy. So that's almost traditional commerce, but it's optimized traditional commerce in the way that you might buy in a website. So that's good. You have to be getting your site and your mobile experience to that. But what Headless does is it removes the usual interface that you and I might buy from. And this is coming fast again. So an example is, who's heard of the Tide button? Connected with the Internet of Things, it's a smart device. So if you need your soap powder, you just click it, and you've pre-configured it, so it just sends a message, and then it will go and automate the purchase, because it's linked to your credit card details, automate the purchase for your soap powder. You'll get it the next day. Or if it's Amazon, you'll get it on Amazon Prime for free, and you'll get it in the next 2 hours. Okay, that is headless commerce. So the normal front-end experience that you get is completely transformed and changed. The back end's the same, so you need systems that can deal with all that back end, but decouple that front end. So you still want your Tide website where people can buy it that way, your marketplaces, but you also want the ability to be able to decouple it to some very interesting and unusual ways people will start buying now and in the future, but all under the same back end that powers that commerce experience. And that's about flexibility and future-proof. So that's an interesting way. Oh, by the way, make sure you don't have kids near that. You put it on your washing machine, Tide. Alexa, who's got one of the Alexa? So now you're starting to buy through that. Buy me coffee. I need some more coffee. Link to Amazon, your Amazon account. Done like that. So you've bought in a completely new way than ever existed 5 years ago. You haven't gone to a website, you haven't gone to your mobile device. You've just spoken the command to that. Okay, so you've got to be thinking about this as you are changing your website and migrating. How can you take advantage of these trends coming? And then the ever visionary Elon Musk wants to get devices that you plant in your brain, so 1 click becomes 1 thought. I've just bought some coffee, by the way. So this is the power. And then linking into content, so content-led commerce. We find richness of experience and content, that differentiator. Price starts to marginalize. Interestingly, even though in a commodity-driven world, how do you, when everybody starts to get similar price points, how do you show differentiation and also justify your price? You get rich on the experience that you deliver. And this is why the high street stores that are doing well are the ones that give that rich experience, and the ones that are starting to fail are the ones that don't, because people just buy it easier online. So think about all that's going on from a content management system and a product information management that then ties into your SEO. The richer the information that you have about your product, and the more contextual and the more linkage it has, and the way you're curating it enables you to take advantage of not only a rich experience, but for your business, higher average order values, better attachment rates, more sales. An example of the BBC Good Food Guide is anybody good cooks? I'm certainly not. I'm a lazy cook. I like it all done for me in the terms of just getting the ingredients. You see an interesting food that you like, a meal. This then packages up all the ingredients that you want. You can select best price, which stores you want it from, done. Convenience of commerce. And this is one of the reasons why Amazon is so good, is they've made everything convenient. They've optimized the buying experience of the journey. The weakness of Amazon is that for you as a merchant or as a brand, you don't really control that. It's all done in the Amazon feel and marketplace. You don't have that much control, or even on your customer, because they're effectively Amazons in a way. Whereas if you've got a great website that creates that great experience, but with the convenience of commerce of Amazon-like experiences, then you're onto a winner. And one company that's done a great job in terms of content-driven experience is the big bus tours. Who's heard of these guys? Surely everybody, you see the buses driving around London and other big cities of the world. Well, about just over a year ago, this was their website. I mean, shield my eyes, that really is, that looks like something in the 1980s that came out of the 1990s. Interestingly, big bus tours, they're owned by a larger group company, but they're a premium price product. You know, does that shout premium price product to you? That shouts, roll up, want to buy a bus ticket? That is not quality. Now, this is what their website looks like now today. A completely different experience. This feels more like a Lonely Planet travel guide. This is so much better connected to what you get, and that vision and that sell and that sizzle of what you get when you go on a London bus tour. Mobile first, totally optimized, fully responsive. This shows imagery, content, experience. They had to optimize the images so that they loaded fast, but that recognized what format they were going to be in, so it didn't decrease, because we know that conversion rate goes down the slower your site is, or the slower the delivery of the images. They had to think about all of these. They had to expand their content because they're in multiple countries, multiple cities around the world. And what happened was that was not an easy project to do. You know, they changed platforms, they had to go through all the risk analysis, they had to work out and find they had to create even more content and curate it. That took time, effort, money. And it wasn't easy, but here's the interesting thing, did it pay off? Well, they won an award, so the Hermes Design Awards. They were recognized for being a great design of website. That's nice, it's an award, feels good, but that doesn't pay the bills. What was the real benefit for them? So mobile traffic. Their site traffic went up 40% as a result of that. Bounce rates dropped 17. Now think about that. Bounce rates at the top of the funnels. You've just increased your traffic by 40% and you've reduced the bounce rate by 17. Think of the opportunity, how much wider that possible opportunity is as you get down to the sharp edge of your funnel to the conversion point. Immediately you've created that new opportunity there. Conversion rates, the time to convert went down because they focused on the user journey. They looked to optimize it. Sales 65% up on last year, and their conversion rates up 50%. These are the powers of content and commerce and that great experience. And then mobile revenue, critically the mobile, because we know it's just often harder with the conversion rates on mobile. They're normally lower than desktop or iPad sites. Traffic went up 53%. Now their organic search went up as well. They optimized on that. But of course, because they had great content that was contextual and in location, Google picked up on that. So they just went higher up the natural search rankings. What a great free win that is. And then the mobile conversion rate up 70% because it was just so much better. And this is the point of replatforming, taking that advantage to think about what you're going to do and make advantage of the flexible technologies out there to achieve it. So some of the key takeaways, looking at that, content-led experiences, they'll become mainstream. How do you use content in whatever industry that you're in to drive a better experience and to add value to a customer? Tomorrow, commerce will be mobile first, mobile only, but it's mobile all the way. Consumers will shun experiences that aren't fast and frictionless. It's just got to be easy. It's got to be easy, because the moment you make it hard, or the moment you're that bit harder than the competition, it means that people will naturally migrate to ease and to the competition. So if you can be easier than your competition, that means that customers will naturally migrate to you over time. And purchases don't always have to be conscious. How can you start to build in unconscious purchases? An exec at PayPal said a lovely phrase, which was, people like to buy, but they don't like to pay. And that's what the Uber thing does, isn't it? You get out the very first time you got out of the Uber at the end of the journey, it kind of felt weird because the taxi driver pulled up and you're kind of like, do I get out now? And they're just looking at you going, yeah. But that's it, because you're see pulling out your wallet, doing something. It's easy. And now it's so easy, just taxi pulls up, you can just get out straight away. You might say thank you or bye. But make it as unconscious as you possibly can within the context of your industry. So do's and don'ts as you look at those risks and benefits. So use it as an opportunity to start with a blank piece of paper. Really take the opportunity to take a forward-looking direction and where you want your business to go and be in 5 years' time, and work backwards from that as to what you're going to do with your commerce, your website, with that migration. It prioritizes integrations because you're going to have to integrate into different technologies to help get the most out of your website. Challenge your old thinking, the way you did things, challenge your people and processes to be innovative, to think about how you can make the most of it. And don't try to repeat your old site exactly. Don't say we've got all of this feature and functionality, we need all of that in there. Question every single element that you had in your website, and some of it might just go in the bin, because actually, if you tie it to where you want to go, you can find better things out there that enable you to do that.